Thoughts on death at 24? No matter it's necessary. We need to be closer to it. And it needs to not always be a sad thing. I think it can be. We all know people are going to die, yet we're always shocked. And I feel like most of us forget the moment that the person actually died for us. And that can be the last time we personally saw them, or it can be the moment that dementia got to a point where that person doesn't recognise you and that person is just a shell of a being right now. And they're not in there. They died the day they didn't recognise you anymore and that they didn't know how to eat anymore. That's the death you're mourning. But we all put the emphasis on when the body stops breathing. And this is so strange, and we put them in a box and suddenly they're not a human being because we're too scared of this box. If this box opened, that would be horrible. Like, why is it horrible? If we see a dead ant on the floor, we don't think it's disgusting and walk away from it and put it in a box and don't look at it. And there are cultures which hold very healthy relationships with death, I feel. And there, especially in the West, a lot of cultures that hold very unhealthy relationships with death. And I think it's a very understandable yet very bizarre and unhealthy way of dealing with death we have, and fear of death. And I think our fear of death is what we mask the fear of not reaching our potential with. But to say that we're scared of not reaching our potential and realising and accepting that the point of us being here is to literally just expand and experience things and to reach our potential. When we don't see that as the point of us being here, because we don't realise what the point of us being here is. I'm not saying that I do think I know the reason of why I'm on this earth, but for sure my reason of being here is not to work a 9-to-5 job that I hate and just do what I'm supposed to do because that's what I have to do. I'm not a video game. I'm not here to serve a purpose. My only purpose is to exist. So check, done that. Now I get to do what I want. And what I want is in the direction of what makes me happy. So if I'm scared of dying, I'm scared of not having accomplished that. If I accomplish all of that, my fear of death would be the mask of I'm scared of losing that, or I'm scared of not having more of that. But that's me right now trying to think about what it's going to feel like when I have all these things and how I'm going to feel when I'm old. And this is so far away from the truth. Even when you watch a trailer to a movie and you go watch the movie and you're like, wow, that was not what I expected. And we just think that like, oh yeah, well, if I have this career and then when I'm older, I'll be like really sad if it didn't work out this way. It's like, we have no fucking idea. And it's not to ignore death, but I think there's a fine line between living like you're about to die every day. How people say like, oh, well, you could die tomorrow, so what would you do today? It's like, okay, it can help some. But if that was true, then I would like, I don't know, I'd just end up like being with my friends all day, eating random food and having sex with random people. No, I'll probably not have sex with random people, actually. One person close to me. Depends how you want to go. But I guess if you live like that, then you're living for momentary pleasures. If you live that you are going to die tomorrow, you live for momentary pleasures. And I don't think that's the way to live your entire life. And this is where people fall into traps. And this is where we all get addicted to pleasure, because we believe that we're following what we want and we're living as if we would die tomorrow. But it's like, we're not going to die tomorrow. Potentially. But if you want to be intrinsically happy and intrinsically motivated and not just externally satisfied, you have to build. You can't have always everything be wonderful. And I mean, kids are like some of the happiest beings in the world. Like, they are so happy. And they don't worry that they're going to die. They're just running around, but still they spend hours a day just like pulling themselves up to try and walk and then falling over. And they have fun with that. And that doesn't mean that like, oh, only their playtime was fun. Only their nap time was fun. They enjoyed their nap time. They enjoyed their screaming time to get what they wanted. They wanted that so badly, what they wanted, that they would scream that much. When do we ever have the audacity to scream like that for what we want after being a kid? And when you're building a business and it keeps falling and building and falling and building and falling. And this kid just like, I just keep trying. I just keep trying. And then this kid can walk. It doesn't see this time as wasted time learning to walk. It's still had fun. And I think it's the same as this kid being like, well, I'm happy sitting, and it never learns to walk for its whole life, than us being, I'm just going to follow simple pleasures, but then never learn to walk or run, build a business, make a show, travel, explore, make mistakes, all of this stuff. I don't even remember what the topic of this video was. Death? This was the topic of death? If I'm completely honest with myself, death is a problem for the people who get left behind, because it's the loss that they have to deal with, but it's the lesson that they learn, and the people who died become 10 times more alive than they were alive in the last 5 years of their life, I believe. When the old man dies, for the last 5 years, he was an old man in a chair that people went to visit. But when he dies, the people who knew him, they get together. And it's sad that they didn't get together when he was alive. But there's things that will stick in these people's minds. There are lessons that they are almost made to think of them, that this man taught them. There are moments from him. There are actions that they now take in their life because of his life and because of the loss of his life that immortalizes him in them. And it doesn't mean that they live their life every day for him. It might be completely unconscious, but otherwise they wouldn't have that lesson. They wouldn't even probably be there if it's a family member. So then if we immortalize each other, when we die, it's like we give our life to the other person. And it's that person's responsibility to take it and take the life they've been given from that person, or to mourn the loss of the other one. And everyone is going to do both, and that's completely natural. But you can't stay in the one forever. You need to feel them both. And I think the lack of acknowledgement of loss and death, especially within animals and homes and communities and ways of living, when you have to just like move on. This is as much a death as a human being. A version of yourself is as much of a death than it is that last version that person happened to be before they died was. And I think to acknowledge all the losses, it's like practicing. As sad as that sounds, it's very morbid. It's a video on death. To practice it, to notice, oh, I feel shit because that happened. You feel shit because you lost a house. If you had to move out of a house you really loved, you're mourning it. It died. For you, that reality died. The same in that, like, a person that potentially you didn't know so well, when they died, you mourn them. When a friend falls out of your life, they're not dead, but if you never see them again, they're gone. And you mourn that, and you deal with the loss of that. And I think the more and more and more you do it, you don't have to have people close to you die. You're always losing stuff. You even just like lose your favourite t-shirt when you drop ketchup on it and it was like your favourite white t-shirt. That's loss. It's the death of a great t-shirt. And it doesn't make the big things less shitty, but it makes you in a position to be able to handle it. And I think that only comes with time. And it's a long fucking road. And it's a fucking painful road. And no one wants to be on it. But as soon as you accept that you're on that road, it's a lot easier to handle. And it's a lot easier to swallow that you potentially spill ketchup on your white t-shirt. And you need to realise there's other white t-shirts. And that maybe if all white t-shirts didn't exist in the world anymore, you're like, okay, I can start to accept that rather than throwing a hissy fit. and probably ruining your t-shirt trying to like get the stain out when you know it's never going to come out. This is a really weird metaphor. Hug and kiss the ones you love and tell them you love them. It's the only advice.